mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say.
Hello all, and welcome to this. This would just be a quick stuff video, and as some of you probably know, I sent out a bulletin, and then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and do a video on this. Dave Messler and the Wrestling Observer are reported some things this week, and the latest one, the biggest one, for me at least, is that apparently both Dish Network and TVN are both reporting that Ring of Honor got more buy rates for Driven than any TNA pay-per-view this year. This is pretty good news for Ring of Honor. It sounds like I'm bashing a bit on TNA, but I will say this. You have to keep in mind that Driven was basically on pay-per-view for 2 months for the most part, throughout with In Demand and everybody. We haven't gotten into, and In Demand hasn't said anything yet. But we don't have any of the hard numbers yet, so we don't know exactly what they did, and you never really know what TNA did because they keep such a tight lid on what they did. But keeping that in mind, if the number comes out, because you figure that if they did more than TNA did, that means they did somewhere in excess of 50 to probably, I'd say 70 to 80,000 for the buy rate for that pay-per-view. If they did 70 to 80,000, I would definitely say that is a huge, monstrous success, and here's why. That would basically put them on par. When they came out, they said that they wanted to have numbers that were on par with the TNA weekly 2-hour pay-per-views. Those got about 10,000 pay-per-view buys a week. So you figure that over 2 months, that'd be about 60 to 80,000, somewhere in there number. Well, if Ring of Honor can do the same amount, which would be, 60 to 80,000, then I would say that was a success on that term. Though they themselves stated their goal was about 10 to 12,000 buys for Respect Is Earned. So they definitely well and exceeded their expectations. This is good news for Ring of Honor, just for money-wise. Let's just say that we'll split the difference and say $12. We'll say $12 for the pay-per-view. Some people paid 10, some people paid 15. And of that $12, let's say only 2 of it actually wind up in Ring of Honor's pocket. Well, we'll lowball it and make it easy. If they did 50,000 buys, well, that's $100,000 in Ring of Honor's pocket for one show, which I'm sure they're more than happy with, and is good news for Ring of Honor. As I said, we'll have to look at when the whole number comes out. We'll definitely be we can dissect it a little bit more, and I do want to dissect it because I do think it's important. I do think it's the way of showing where Ring of Honor is going. However, I'll say this: if I'm TNA and I see that, I can't exactly be happy that a indie fed that is not on television, that basically is perpetuated by the net, just did that kind of number, and I can't. That's got to be kind of mind-numbing to TNA, and it shows what I have said, that they are not getting the die-hard fans to watch their product, and that's not good, and that has to change, in my opinion. Very much so, because pay-per-views are where TNA basically lives or dies. For those of you that don't know, that is where they live or die. They don't have a very good television deal. They do not have the distribution deals or the house show numbers or any of that WWE does to fall back on when the pay-per-views aren't bringing in a good amount of money. So TNA basically lives and dies on those pay-per-views, and if they're not doing good, that's not good. And one other thing that Messler reported on the Observer is that there is a growing civil war apparently going on in TNA, and this I found very interesting because it's something I've been talking about. Basically, Kurt Angle has been trying to position himself as the top guy in TNA above Jeff Jarrett. Now, Jeff Jarrett has always been the top guy, so you kind of have that going on, and basically it's Jeff Jarrett and Mantell versus Angle and Vince Russo, which seems like an odd pairing, except that both of Angle and Russo, if the report is correct, and this is all rumor and backstage stuff, but if the report is correct, What they want is to push the younger guys and to have more clean finishes. Russo probably not as much as Angle, but more clean finishes, and basically give us, the fans, what, when you're on YouTube, when you're anywhere on the internet, what the fans are always griping about. Apparently that is what they want to give. And basically what's going on now is there's like a are you with this or against this type attitude going in throughout TNA, which is very strange and very odd, and something I definitely think has to be kind of looked at, because we don't really talk too much about, or I don't talk too much about TNA's backstage politics, because usually there's nothing really to talk much about. But this is a big deal. I mean, this is one of those things that could really hurt a company if they continue to let this go. And hopefully either they put the kibosh on it, or they bring everybody together and figure out a way so that everyone kind of gets what they want. What Jarrett and Mantell want is to push more of the older guys, more of the established stars, because they feel like they're the established stars, they're known names, and that's why we have to push them. Which I think everybody on here would kind of say yes to an extent, but also not to the extent that you are. So that is a pretty big deal in my opinion. And the only other thing that came out of this as far as TNA from that was that apparently Terry Taylor sent a letter to, I guess, all of the wrestlers, if I remember correctly, saying that if they want out of their contracts, they will be granted out of their contracts. Now, do I expect anyone to take that? Probably not. We might see a few guys maybe take it if that's true. I know Bill and Doug will come on here and probably say, "Oh, that's just rumors and hearsay," and it is. I'm not denying that, but Metzler is very he's not usually wrong on this. He is the most respected guy. He is a legit guy, and he usually doesn't run with something unless he's pretty confident that it's true. Like I said, I don't expect a lot of guys to leave just for money reasons, but you never know. Guys could say, you know what, I'm out of here, I'm tired of this, so be it, particularly if you got this whole Civil War thing going on like what I talked about. But I just thought I would come on here and talk about that with some info that I was passed along, and definitely the Ring of Honor info, which I think is great news for Ring of Honor. That is that is great stuff. I was really thinking they probably got 25,000 on the buy rates. I know some one guy in particular on here, won't say his name, Moral Virus, was hoping for like 125,000 buy rate. But this is definitely good for Ring of Honor, without a doubt. Definitely shows that they are on the map. They are to be taken somewhat seriously. And, congratulations. And that's all I got to say. And I'm out. And bye.
Let's ride.